birds with one stone.
Yeah, you have to. I don't want to miss this for
No,
sure.
you'll get a lot out of this one. This is a good one.
Okay.
We'll just see if we'll wait here a couple more minutes. We'll wait till about 5 after to see if anybody else wants to jump in. I know a lot of people have been watching the replay because it's not always easy to jump on live, but I like a few people on live because then people can ask me questions. So we'll see who jumps in here. We'll give it a couple more minutes here, and then we'll just get started.
How was the weekend, Matt? I saw you jumping.
Yeah. I'm a little sore after doing those backflips, but it was fun. We had a lot of friends over, and it was a lot of fun. At our lake, the Labor Day weekend is the big bash. It's the big blowout. So it's like the busiest day of the year. So, but we had really bad weather in the morning, so it wasn't as big of a turnout as what we thought it was going to be. But it ended up being a nice day. So no, it was fun. How about you? Did you do anything fun?
No, not really. We have a fire going on.
I lost you.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Cut out on me there.
Hello?
Are you there?
Yes.
There
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Hello? Yeah, I said we're having a fire happening around my home, like 30 miles from where I live.
Oh, wow.
So we just kind of, in California, that's how it is.
Yeah. Well, that doesn't sound like fun, but at least you made it through.
Yep.
Well, good. Well, I don't know if many other people are going to jump on. I'm going to give it 2 more minutes, and then we'll get started here. So I know you can't take a lot of notes while you're driving unless you're better than me, Robbie, but
No.
Kevin joined us.
I fought for you in the class.
Yeah. Okay, good. Hey, Kevin, how's it going?
Hey, how's it going?
Good. We're going to get started in 1 minute. We're going to get started in 1 minute here. So looks like you're ready to take some notes and dive in. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and get started here. I don't know if anybody else is going to jump on or not. I know there's going to be quite a few people that got the invite for this one. So let's go ahead and get started, and people can watch the replay. So what I want to talk about today is acquisitions and dispositions. Now, I get a ton of questions on both of these topics, and so I'm hoping to clear up some stuff today, do some in-depth training to help people get on their way. This is the meat and the potatoes. This is how you make all the money. Like all the other stuff outside of acquisitions and dispositions, that's busy work, right? That's just something that has to be done on the side to get this stuff done. Now, one of the things I'm real big on is every single day, if you guys have been listening to me very long, and if you haven't been listening to me very long, you'll learn that this is kind of how I do things. Is I like to get up in the morning and I like to make a list of what I call first things first. Okay, first things first is the most important things you can be doing all day, and it's the things that generate most of your income. It's income generating activities. Okay, you need to focus 80% of your time on income generating activities and get rid of the rest of the stuff. So acquisitions and dispositions is that. If you've got, you can't sell something you don't have. So you got to be able to have the acquisitions piece down in order to get property so that you can sell them. So every day I do several different things in my business, but when it comes to, luckily my real estate company, and I spend a lot more time in my education company than I do in my real estate company, because my real estate company runs without me. I only have to put, maybe 5 hours a week into my real estate business. But some of the top most important things that I need to keep an eye on in the real estate business is what's going under contract and what are we selling. So I like to make sure I touch base with the sales team almost every day, even if it's just one quick text message. Hey, what do you got coming down the pipeline for PAs, and what do you have selling? Now, you guys might be a little more involved in the day-to-day stuff, which is why we're going through some of this stuff today and dialing in on a lot of the details. So we'll jump into acquisitions first. So in acquisitions, you've got to own lead generation, right? We know that making offers is the most important piece to being able to get deals, okay? So, but you can't make offers on something if you don't have leads. You have to own leads. You have to have a business, especially if you want this to be full-time, massive income generating business. If you want it to just go like crazy and really take on a life form of its own, you have to wake up every single day to more leads, right? You have to get leads coming in. That is job number one. You get leads coming in, that gives you something to sort through, and that gives you something to make offers on. So step one, I mean, I can dial in. I know how many deals I'm going to do in the course of a month based on my lead generation. If I stopped my lead generation, I'd still do some deals because we've got so many deals just loaded up. I think we have 6,000 leads in my Podio system for the Quad City area. And so I can just always keep hitting those leads forever. Now, some of those leads will be good. Some of them will be bad. Some people have sold those houses. Given enough time, those leads start to diminish. But capturing those leads is a way to harvest those leads forever. On lead generation, typically my ratios are, if I send out marketing, what doesn't matter if it's cold calling, direct mail, texting, whatever it is, if I send out marketing, I'm going to close 25% of those deals, okay? So 25% of those deals will close now. 75% of the deals I close are along there. Those other 75% I already talked to months ago, okay? I've had deals where I've closed them 4 and 5 years later, but because I followed up, I was able to harvest that lead. So again, you must own lead gen. If you think you're going to find a house, haphazardly find a house, put it under contract and wholesale it or buy it and fix it up and flip it, you could get lucky on that every once in a while. But you have to have a marketing machine that generates leads. Now, so you need to first thing you do is back up and say, how many leads do I want to generate in the course of a day? I would try to shoot for, if you're getting started, you're only going to be able to move so quickly. And the more proficient you get with some of these skill sets, the more you can handle. But if you can get through, if you can make a goal to just get 3 new leads in a day, that's enough to get you some deals, right? So especially as you stack them, especially as time goes on, especially as you keep following up and follow-up sequences and harvesting leads down the road. So figure out how many leads you want a day, and then back figure that into what you need to do. So go back to what marketing that you've got working. If you're only going to do the free marketing stuff, you have to do a lot of it to get a deal. I'm just telling you right now, I love the free marketing stuff. We'll cover that stuff in a second. I love free marketing because your cost per closed contract is infinite, right? You didn't spend any money to get the lead. But the problem with the free marketing stuff is that it's not as consistent as paid marketing. You're not going to close on a regular basis. You're not going to be able to generate ongoing regular income if you're just doing the free stuff, okay? There's a lot more to that. So let's talk about marketing, what we're doing. Now, my number one favorite way to do marketing, absolutely, it's been this way for years. I love it. It will never probably change. It still works. It's still effective. I still close deals from it, is direct mail. Okay. I love direct mail. Now, the reason I love it, and I have, especially most of you guys already know all this. I only have 3 or 4 different postcards that I cycle through. I don't even change it up. I've been running the same postcards for so long, I can't remember. But it works. This stuff, you don't have to have 40 different postcards. I love direct mail. We buy a simple list of, again, I like vacant homes, Think about it. If vacant, non-owner occupied properties, okay? If somebody owns that house and they don't live there and it's vacant and it's not generating them any income and they live at another house, now they're paying for 2 houses, right? What's the chances that they're going to be motivated to sell? It's high, okay? So I love the vacant list, okay? Now, my favorite vacant list we get from exactdata.com. Secondly, I love the high equity non-owner occupied list. Okay, you get houses that have 40% equity and higher. Those are good leads. They're non-owner occupied. That means they're probably like a rental property for that person, or second home, or a house they inherited, whatever. But high equity means that they have a loan on it, but the loan's not that big in comparison to what it's worth, and that's a great list, and we mail that list. And again, we like, I love Exact Data, but I also like Listability for that list, listability.com. It's a great list to buy. So direct mail always works. It's always worked for me forever. Now, I know right now the phase, the new kind of the craze is texting. People have been texting the last year and a half, 2 years or so. And texting works. And we do texting every single week. We do a lot of texting. And and texting's cheap, right? I mean, so you get to send out a lot of leads really cheap. The problem with texting is the longer it goes on, the more restrictions you're going to get. Right now, so many people are teaching texting, and they're texting the same message that that everybody else is. And what happens is the cell phone providers, they start to pick up on identical messages. So if you've learned how to text message from another guru or something, you'll notice that I don't hand out my text message. I teach you a theme to text, but I don't I don't hand out what I text. And the reason is not only would it not work for you, it wouldn't work now for me. So the reason is if the cell phone providers, AT&T, Verizon, all these companies, if they see the same messages going out over and over and over again, they mark that as spam. And as soon as you send the text, it never even gets to the person. It goes right in their spam folder, even all through their phone. So a lot of people don't realize there's literally a spam folder in your phone. And so what happens is it doesn't ever get to them, so they never have a chance to reply. So that's why texting response rates have dropped over time. That doesn't mean I still don't do texting. We always do texting, but you have to use a different message than everybody else is doing. If somebody says, "Oh man, I got the perfect text message to give you, and if you use it, you'll get this X% response, and it's awesome," don't use it, because it's not going to work very long. And it may not work at all. So again, I love the direct mail. I love texting, but one thing about direct mail is when they get my postcard and they take that postcard, they have a physical thing in their hands. They put it up on their fridge, they put a magnet on it, and it stays there. I've seen my postcard in houses years later from when I send them. And so it's a physical thing that people can keep, and they'll keep it, and they'll call you when the time is right. Because sometimes people are ready to sell today, and sometimes people are not ready to sell. But it following up is a big piece of that, because if you could send a marketing to a homeowner right now, and they're not ready to sell. But 2 months from now, let's say there was a family and they got divorced. Now all of a sudden they weren't motivated to sell 2 months ago, but now they are. That's why following up is so important. So again, I love direct mail. I have not stopped direct mail in years and years and years and years and years. Texting I'm newer to. We've only been doing a year and a half, but it works. We still get deals every month from it. It's cheap. So direct mail downfall costs more money. Texting's cheap. It's quick. It's easy. But it's not. It's losing its momentum, I would like to say. Cold calling works. We still cold call every single week. I think right now we're doing about 1,500 cold calls a week in the Quad Cities, and we still get deals from cold calling. Been doing it for a really long time, and it works really well. Now, those are paid. Those are paid. Okay. Direct mail, cold calling, texting, that's all paid marketing. You buy a list. That list you can use to direct mail. You don't have to do anything further to it. If you're going to cold call or text, it's got to be skip traced. There's an extra cost to that. So there's money involved. But once you own the list once, you don't have to do that over and over again. You might use that list 4, 5, 6 times before you have to rebuy the list. So those are paid marketing. And that's the backbone of my real estate business. That's where I generate probably 75% of my leads. But there's other things you can do. Today, a wholesaler sent me 2 deals. Well, I shouldn't say today. A week and a half ago, a wholesaler sent me 2 deals. Okay. Great deals. I put both of them under contract. And today I sold both of them to 2 different buyers and to cash buyers. And between the 2, now these aren't super exciting numbers. I live in a market that's, the average house is, $100,000, $125,000. So our wholesale fees are small in the Quad Cities. Typically, we're between $5,000 and $7,000 for the average wholesale fee. And today, the 2 deals I did, one made $7,000 and one made $4,000, right in that range. I'm telling you, that's just how it works. Some of you guys that live in the bigger, more expensive markets, you guys can make a lot bigger wholesale fees. I was talking to a friend of mine down in South Carolina today, and he's working with the houses that are worth about $200,000, and his average wholesale fee is double what mine is. So a lot of your wholesale fee depends on how expensive of a market you're in. So the more expensive of a market, the bigger your wholesale fees are going to be. But if you're not reaching out to wholesalers, that's free, costs nothing. If you're not reaching out to wholesalers in the area, then you will be losing out on deals. You should make it your mission to contact every wholesaler in a market that you're at and get leads. Okay, again, these 2, let's break down these 2 deals I got. Okay, so first of all, I get these 2 deals from a wholesaler. Were they home runs? No, they were base hits. But the market's hot and people want properties. So I had no money in earnest money, none. Okay, I didn't have any marketing dollars involved. It's straight profit. Okay, so that's what I love about the wholesaler stuff. You get pre-checked, pre-done deals that already come to you. Now your job is to put them under contract, double close them, or assign the contracts depending on where you're at, and sell them and make money. So if you get, 15, 20 wholesalers on your list, imagine if you made it your daily routine to have 20 wholesalers on your list, and every single day, part of your first things first that we just talked about, the most important things you can be doing, your first things first is every day you text a different wholesaler that day. Hey man, just, wanted to reach out. You got any good deals? I'm looking to buy. I'm looking to place some money, something super simple like that. Because if you don't stay in front of these wholesalers, they will disappear. They'll move on to the next shiny object. They'll forget about you. I'm telling you, I'm the biggest buyer in the Quad Cities by far. And I still, every once in a while, I'm like, man, I haven't talked to that such and such person in a while, wholesaler. And I reach out to him and he's like, man, I totally forgot. Like, dude, I bought 50 houses from you over the years. What happened? And it was my fault because I stopped reaching out to him. But you can have your team do this for you as well. That's part of my thing is I try to get somebody from my team to do this. Now the cool thing about one of these deals that I got rid of today, I'm going to talk about on the Dispo side when we switch over to Dispo here in a few minutes. Pretty cool. I guess I like to share some cool stuff I'm working on. So the other thing you can be doing, Craigslist, super, super simple. There's free deals on Craigslist. We still do some deals on Craigslist. Now we don't do a ton of deals off Craigslist. I like Craigslist because it's there's deals there, but there's competition because other people know about those ones. But you should be hitting up Craigslist every day. Like I have my VA. Every single day she posts an ad on Craigslist, or every day or every other day she posts an ad on Craigslist that we buy houses or some form of that message. So we're constantly getting sellers that reach out and say, hey, I saw your ad. I have this house that I want to sell. So that's free. It doesn't cost anything. So you should be hitting Craigslist up, and you should be going to Craigslist this is something your VA can do for you. You should be going to Craigslist, going for the for sale by owners, the ones that aren't listed with realtors, and looking and scanning for deals every day. Every day you could do that. It takes just minutes to do, but you can find deals from for sale by owners that they list. If you're the first one to call them and the first one to get them under contract, then you'll be the first one to get the deal. Once it's locked up, it's yours. That's something super simple that you could be doing every single day. And again, you don't have to do it. Your VA will do that for you. My VA does that. That's what we do. The VA does it. Zillow. There's a lot of for sale by owners on Zillow. For one, you should be reaching out to people that have for sale by owner properties on Zillow and making offers on their properties. That's one thing. Secondly, you should be, on the dispo side of things, you should be listing your houses on Zillow. Putting a house on, that you have on Zillow after you get it under contract, that's a good way to sell houses. Okay. Facebook Marketplace, another free version of getting deals. Used to be Craigslist was the biggest, most popular place to go find your hidden kind of quote unquote hidden deals that were listed but not listed with a realtor. Then now it's shifted over to Facebook Marketplace. You can get deals on Facebook Marketplace, which is the kind of thing is when Facebook Marketplace first came out, there were we were attacking deals there. Now it's become really popular. Now Facebook Marketplace is bigger than eBay, believe it or not. Can you believe that? Facebook Marketplace passed up eBay. So there's still deals there. There's still deals to be had there. You can also dispo your deals there, disposition. But what that's done though for Craigslist, since Facebook Marketplace has got so popular, people are leaving Craigslist, and that's given opportunities back to Craigslist. So Craigslist in the beginning was amazing because there wasn't that many people on and you could go in and get deals really cheap. Then it got so popular that it started getting hard to do deals. Then everything shifted over to Facebook, and now you can go back to Craigslist and get deals a little easier. But you should still be checking out Marketplace. You can set up automatic, to be contacted automatically when a deal gets listed. You can be contacted automatically to get that lead. So you should be setting up all those filters. So let's think about that. So let's talk through that. So we talked paid marketing, cold calling, texting, direct mail. That's the backbone of a full-time. If you want to be full-time in real estate and be doing deals all the time, you want to be running direct mail, cold calling, texting. But why not do all the free stuff? Okay, because that costs money. But why not do all the free stuff? Zillow, finding deals on Zillow, finding deals on Craigslist, finding deals on Facebook Marketplace, finding deals from wholesalers. I love the wholesaler piece, especially if you find a really good acquisitions wholesaler, somebody that just dominates at that. You can get some amazing deals. I've gotten so many deals from wholesalers over the years, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, maybe 1,000 by now. Some of those deals I re-wholesale and made. I know I can specifically remember one right now on a single family home that I wholesaled for $40,000 more. I paid the wholesaler a $5,000 fee, and I wholesaled it for an extra $40 on top of that. And he did all the work. All I did was send a message out. So those kind of deals are out there. So wholesalers should definitely be. But so to really have a well-rounded acquisitions machine, you should be doing both paid marketing and free marketing. If you're just getting started and you don't have a lot of money to work with, then just dominate the free marketing until you close a deal. Then don't take the money from the deal and put it in your pocket or go to the casino or go to the mall or go buy a new car or whatever. Take a big portion of that money and reinvest it back in your business into the paid marketing and just watch that snowball start rolling and getting bigger. That's what we do. We never let the marketing die. Okay. So once you get all these channels running and you get all these leads, all these lead channels working and these leads are coming in, now you got to get good at sorting the leads. Okay. Now, don't overcomplicate sorting leads. Okay. Now, I've made it super simple for you guys. Okay. My lead sheet, it's real easy. Like so many people out there, especially right now, and there's a lot of talented people. I'm not knocking anybody. There's a lot of gurus out there that are good at like the, good at the, owner, carry stuff and lease option stuff and all that. There's a lot of guys that are really sharp at that. I don't mess around with that stuff. I do those deals very rarely, not because you can't make money, but because you have to work too hard. All that stuff is just, assuming a mortgage and, taking over a mortgage and all that stuff. It's just, for one, it's gotten risky ever since Dodd-Frank hit in 2008 and they changed all the mortgage rules. You don't want to be hit by the government for predatory lending, for one. But secondly, it's just too much work for me. It's just too easy to find people that have no mortgage on a house or a very low mortgage. If you buy the list where people own houses free and clear or have high equity, you will get those leads. I'm telling you, I'm amazed at, I send out marketing to people that own houses free and clear or have high equity, and guess what? I get back free and clear houses. Those are the easiest ones to work with. That takes the least amount of effort, and you have to have least amount of skills, especially if you're new, right? I mean, it's hard to negotiate. If you're brand new, it's hard to negotiate a deal where the owner carries the mortgage. So with that being said, we know when a lead comes in, we ask them what their asking price is, and we ask them what they owe on their mortgage, and we get those answers. Not 100% of the time, but most of the time. Now, if somebody owes, if you're easy math, if somebody has a house that's worth 100 grand and they owe 95, I don't mess with that deal. There's not enough spread there. So I move on. But if I have somebody that has a house that's worth 100 grand, they owe nothing and they're asking 95, I'm still going to work that deal because there's no guarantee I can't get them down to a price that makes sense for me. So I'm just more curious about, can they move down if they want to? And if they can, I'm interested, as long as they're motivated to sell. So if they'd have no motivation to sell and like, hey, I'm just calling you to see what I saw the house across the street sold for more than asking price, and I'm just calling you to see if you can pay me similar price. Now, that person's not motivated. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. But once I've discovered that the deal can make sense, they can get down to the price I need, then I move forward. Now, being able to sort those leads quickly, that's step one. Step two, guys, I teach a lot on comps. Okay, you guys have access to all this comps training. It's super easy. I have our VAs do it, but you can even break it down even simpler than that. So I want you to get good at running comps because you have to. This is a skill that's very, very important. So many people pass up. Deals that they should be buying, but they're not because they're not comping the house right. I was heartbroken because last week I worked with a guy. He's doing his first deal, and 3 days prior, I told him to put the house under contract. I'm like, I went online myself. I don't know the area. I went online. I figured out like this house is worth this price. There's equity. Put the house under contract. Offer him this. 3 days had gone by. He didn't get it done quite fast enough. Some other wholesaler got it under contract for the price I told him to. And this wholesaler is probably going to make 20 grand on it. You got to move fast. You've got to sort these leads quick. And when you find one that makes sense, don't hesitate. Put it under contract. Now, you might be saying, well, I'm afraid. I'm scared. What happens if I can't find a buyer? Then you back out. You have an inspection clause, okay? Put a 14-day inspection clause in there. Put a 30-day inspection clause. Don't drag the seller out forever. We don't want to be those people. But it's not unusual to have 14 days inspection, okay? It's just normal. That's enough time. If you can't get rid of the house in 14 days, either your price is too high or your buyer's list is terrible, and you need to work on both, okay? So make offers quickly. Knowing that you have a 14-day inspection period, make the offer. But you have to be able to get a quick value. So one of the things I do is all I did for this guy, and it proves that I was right because another wholesaler came in right behind him and put it under contract for the exact price I told him to. And I never done a deal in that area. But all I do, you have all the comps training, own that, know that, get good at that. But for quick, you know what I do for quick? If I'm going into an area for quick numbers, I go to Zillow. I type in the address. I don't pay attention to the Zestimate. The Zestimate doesn't mean anything to me. I go to the other solds, the other houses that have sold. Zillow lists all the houses that have sold nearby. And I start clicking on them, all the ones that are close. And I look, okay, are they same amount of bedrooms? Are they same amount of bathrooms? Is the square footage close? And if I see that, okay, these pictures look really nice, and this house sold for, $200,000, and it's got 3 bedrooms and 2 baths and 1,800 square feet, and this house that that I'm looking at right now to buy is 3 bedroom, 2 bath, 1,800 square feet, and I can buy it for 120, but it needs work. Okay, we got something there. We can make that work. The numbers, the math works, depending on how much the rehab is, but you don't even have to get carried away with that. The bottom line is find out, start looking at the closest houses, click on the button, click on the dots. You can do a search for Zillow for solds, click on the dots. You can also look on the side when you pull up the address, all the other houses that are sold, compare, get the closest size, closest bedrooms, and start seeing what they're selling for. That's how simple it is. Don't make it any harder than that. Doesn't have to be. And then make a decision. Does my math work? Can I offer X price? Can I sell it for this? Okay, they're selling the houses just like this, right across the street, right within a few blocks, are selling for $200,000. I can buy this for $120. It needs $30,000 in rehab. I have a home run. Okay, I'm gonna make 20, 30 grand on this, no problem. Okay, so just make sure you get good at sorting quickly. Don't overcomplicate it, because worst case scenario, you mess it up, you put it under contract, and guess what? You send it to your buyers and nobody buys it, or everybody says your price is too high. Now, 2 things. Again, repeat of what I just said. If you send the deal out and everybody says the price is too high, tries to offer you a way less, one of 2 things is happening. 1, your buyer's list is terrible and the buyers are trying to beat you up. And 2, you overpaid. That's all. That's it. You've got 2 chances to learn from the deal. But if your buyer's list is terrible and you have only 3 buyers on it and they're stingy and they offer you 50%, because a lot of buyers do right now, that's what they do, then you'll end up thinking that you got a bad deal. In reality, you didn't have enough buyers maybe, okay? I'm just telling you, if you get a deal with a 30% spread right now, you can wholesale that deal. And I'm not even talking about with rehab. If you get a house, easy math, just super simple, guys, just to make this really, really easy. If you get a $200,000 house and you can buy that at 70%, which is 140 grand, you will make money on that house as long as you have a good buyer's list. Okay, you don't and that's not, I'm not even counting rehab. I'm just telling you that's the market we're in right now. Don't get super carried away with, and I know I teach all this stuff, and I like to be methodical and scientific about this, but let's not get carried away. If you say, well, okay, $200,000 house, and we got to take times 0.7. So $200,000 house times 0.7 is 140 minus 30,000 in repairs. I need to buy that house for 110. Well, that's just if we're repairs plus I want to make a wholesale fee of 20,000. So I got to buy that house for 90 grand. I'm telling you, you guys aren't going to get houses. You don't need to go that low, especially if you aren't doing volume yet. Get the house under contract. Okay. Don't get carried away. People will pay more. How do you know that they're maybe they have a expert wholesaling team that can, rehab team that can rehab the house in 14 days and get it done for half price. You don't know. Maybe they're going to work on it themselves. Maybe they don't care. Maybe they're going to, I talked to a buyer recently that has $40 million in cash looking to deploy it. And I'm like, how are you figuring your rehab costs? Like, rehab, we throw paint on the walls, we throw a new carpet in. We don't do anything else. We rehab every house for $5 grand. That's what this guy does. Now, a house that I would spend 35 in, he's spending 5. I can't predict what people will spend. Stop worrying about rehab. Get houses under contract, get them at a discount, and wholesale them. Okay. So you've got to get your ability to sort the houses quickly. You cannot wait around. You cannot wait around. And if you go too cheap, you will get left behind and you will not do a deal. I'll just give you another example. I got a house the other day. Send out marketing, direct mail. Lead comes in. The house is worth $150,000 all day long. This thing was built in 2007. This is a great deal. It's in good condition. Seller says, I want 75,000. I get greedy. Okay. I get greedy. I say, I'll give you 70. Guess what? Didn't get the deal. Somebody else got it. Now I was going to make $50,000, $60,000 on that deal. I got greedy. So don't get too greedy, guys. Make an offer that makes sense. Figure out how much you want to make. You know, if in my marketing, if I make 5 to 7 on most deals, I'm happy. That's a base hit. You're going to hit some that you're going to get 10, you're going to get 4, you're going to get 3, you're going to get 15, you're going to get 20 sometimes. It's all over the place. You don't really know exactly what pitch you're going to be thrown. You just got to start swinging at those pitches, and eventually you'll hit something. And by swinging, I mean make offers. Okay, so let's talk about offers. How, do you want to make offers? There's a lot of ways to make offers here. We make verbal offers first. Okay. Do not waste your time sending out written offers when you don't even know if they're going to take it. Make verbal offers first. We've been given a gift with COVID. Okay. Guess what? Now it's normal to not even go to the house. Hey, Mr. Seller, you've probably seen all this stuff going on with COVID. We want to keep you as safe as we possibly can, and we want to keep our team safe. So guess what? I'm going to make you an offer on your house without even going there. Can you send me 30 pictures? I got a little sheet you can fill out or follow along with. Send me 30 pictures of the house, send them back to me, and we'll make an offer based on your pictures. We never even have to show up. Guess what? A year ago, that wasn't normal. We still would do it sometimes, but that wasn't normal. You got pushback. Now, people welcome it. You got a better chance of getting the house under contract. Then they don't have to have 14 other people walk through, which also eliminates your competition. So you can make offers over the phone, have the homeowner take pics. Now, in some cases, homeowner's going to be 80 years old. I don't have if I ask my dad's 78, if I asked my dad to take pictures of his house, that would never happen. Okay. He would just not be able to put it together. So some people do need pictures. Now, you can do it yourself. You can hire a picture person off of Craigslist for $25 to go get you pictures. You can find somebody off Facebook Marketplace. You can talk to your next Uber driver that needs to do something on the side while he's driving by the house 14 times a day driving Uber. Find somebody to get you some pictures, okay? So you can get it done cheap. But once you have pictures in the house, you've made the offer, you got the offer accepted, you now put it under contract with an actual contract. You can send that via email, super simple, print it out, sign it, send it back. Some people like to talk to their attorney first, no problem. Some people will just read it and be comfortable and sign it and send it back. It just depends on the person. Once you get it signed, I like vacant homes because there's nobody living there. It's easier to show. You get somebody to place a lockbox on it. Ideally, it will be somebody like your picture person goes and takes pictures and places the lockbox. Now you can do showings if you need to, and you don't have to be there. The two deals that I just wholesaled today both had lock boxes put on them. I sent my buyers there. I never been to these houses. Okay. I mean, it's just here's the address. Go check it out. I gave nobody on these two houses. I gave neither buyer. I gave rehab expenses to, rehab costs. Not one. I didn't even mention it. Listen, go figure out your own rehab. I don't know if you're going to rehab this yourself or hire it out. I don't know if you're going to put granite countertops in this thing or Formica. That's up to you. That's not my deal. Here's your price. Go figure out the rehab. And if you're talking to the right buyers, they don't care about your rehab numbers anyway. They'll do it themselves. It's really the amateurs that really dive down deep on rehab. Now, if you're wholesaling, that's fine. If you're buying to fix and flip, you have to know your rehab numbers. Absolutely 100%. That's real money. You have to do that. You can't skip that part. You really do have to know that if you're going to do a fix and flip. You mess that part up and you're losing money. But on a wholesale, it doesn't matter. Okay. So again, put it under contract. If you're wrong, you got a 14-day inspection. You got a due diligence clause. Hey, I'm just doing due diligence. This has nothing to do with a licensed home inspector. I don't need any of that. This is my opinion. This is my due diligence. Either I like the house or I don't. I'm not buying it if I don't like it, but I got a due diligence period of 14 days. You send people through. You got a lockbox placed. You send people through. You find a buyer. And the other thing you can do, what I did on one of these houses I wholesaled today, was I didn't have a lockbox on it right away. It took a few days. So I knew a buyer that bought in that area. I sent him a text message. Hey, go drive around this house. You can't get in yet, but just drive the area in the neighborhood and see if you like it. And he drove by and gave me a thumbs up. He's like, if I get into this thing and it looks good, I'm in. Well, then we got him in today. We got a lockbox place yesterday, got him in today. And he's like, he sent me back. I'm sending you the contract back today. So super simple stuff. And they're cash only. Always remember, cash only, cash only, cash only. They must close at your title company, not their title company, your title company. It's really, really important because if you want to do a double close, you got to be closing at the same title company. Otherwise, that won't work. You'll have to actually come up with real money, close on it, and then reclose it another. So always remember, always cash buyers, verify their cash, and make sure you close at your title company for both sides. Okay, so that's all I had for really the acquisition side of things. I kind of touched on some dispo, but let's jump into dispo. Okay, first of all, as we talked, cash buyers only, okay? You can build your cash buyers list with a virtual assistant, okay? My virtual assistant is required to give me 40 new cash buyers a day, okay? Now, I pay my virtual assistant $4 an hour, and that portion of her day probably takes an hour to do, an hour to maybe 2 hours to do 40 a day. So let's do the math. If she works 5 days and she works 2 hours to give me 40 cash buyers, in the course of 1 week, I get 200 cash buyers, and it costs me $40. Okay, that's pretty cheap. But I like to send an email and sell a house. Okay, that's kind of my phrase. I want to send an email and sell a house. So I have her build a cash buyers list. Now that cash buyers list can always be built. It never stops. There's every single day, some new cash buyer jumps out and buys a house. So you can always be building it. The bigger your cash buyers list, the quicker you can get to the people that will actually close on this stuff. So you should always be building that if you want to move quick. Secondly, you can have wholesalers. You want wholesalers to be able to sell to other wholesalers. Okay, other wholesalers can be amazing cash buyers. Why? Because they have buyers that trust them, that they've built a relationship with, that can sell your house. Now that means they're going to make money too, and that you should be okay with them making money. Okay, you should be. If you've got a problem with another wholesaler who sells your house making a profit, you've got a problem, not them. Okay, it's okay. They're in this business to make money. They've done a good job of building relationships. Who cares how much they make? So you're selling it to them for 50 and they sell it for 70 and you only made 5 and they made 20. Well, guess what? You should have done a better job of building your relationship with other cash buyers. They have. They put their money into that, and that's what they're good at in their time. So it doesn't matter what they make. I do not care if I wholesale a deal. I absolutely do not care how much the next guy makes on it. Doesn't matter to me. Doesn't figure into my equation. Don't even think about it. If he makes $1 million, good for him. Okay, I don't care. I'm focused on what I'm doing and what I want to make. So one of the deals, so let me tell you another little technique on dispo that works really well. Like just so you guys know, I don't want to be tight. I don't want to wholesale houses. Okay, I've wholesaled so many in my years. I don't want to wholesale houses anymore. So I let somebody else do it. So what I do is now you guys can take think about your day. Okay, now I'm 4,000 houses deep, so I got a few years on you guys, and a lot of deals under my belt, and I've just I've done all that, and I want to keep wholesaling houses in my real estate business. I just don't want to do any of the work anymore. I've already done that, so I get somebody else to do all the work for me. So here's what you can do. Now you need to wake up every day and think of first things first and what you need to do, and if you doing the dispositions is a good use of your time, because I'll tell you right now, the most money you'll make in real estate is acquisitions and dispositions. If you only did that, then you will make a lot of money. Eventually, someday, you're going to build the business big enough, hopefully, where you can step out of that and let the team do it, like I'm doing right now. But let me just tell you a little cheat way to do this. So I woke up one day and said, I'm never going to wholesale another house again where I have to do all the work. It's just, I don't want to do it anymore. I want to be at my lake house. I want to be doing backflips off my boat like Robbie saw me do. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you would have seen me over Labor Day doing backflips off my my pontoon boat. It was pretty fun. So anyway, what I do is this. Here is a great way to lock in your profit on a deal and let somebody else do all the work for you. Okay, this is what I do. So I have a specific guy in my area, and I tell him when I get a deal under contract. Now, I'm not saying I won't go to other people, as well, but I give most of my deals to this guy. What I do is I listen. I call him up and I say, listen, here's the deal. I have this house. Okay, I need 20. He doesn't need to know what I have it under contract for. It doesn't matter. But I tell him I need X price. So I'll say, hey, I need $50,000 for this house. Cash buyer only. I want 50. I don't care how much you make. If you have a buyer that will pay you 70, great. I love it. If you have a buyer that'll pay you 80, great. I love it. I want you to make as much money as you can, but I need 70,000 or I need 50,000 for it. So I just determine a rock bottom price, because a lot of people like to do splits. Like, hey man, I got this house and I'll split the profit with you. Find a buyer. To me, that's messy. I don't like doing that. I just want to lock in my price. So I just name my price. Hey, here's 123 Main Street. I need 50 grand. I don't care how much more you make than me. All I know is I need 50 grand. You go find a buyer that can make, you go find a buyer that will pay you whatever. So by doing it that way, then he goes and finds a buyer and I've locked in my profit. And there's times he makes more than me and I don't care. I'm in the volume game. And I made money with no money doing wholesaling other than my marketing cost. But that, the two deals that I wholesaled today were both brought to me with no marketing costs from another wholesaler. So what does it matter? It's literally an infinite return. So that's how I like to do dispo. You guys can do it yourself if you want. I wholesaled a lot of houses over the years before I got to that level. So, and that's a good use of your time. To be honest with you, even the acquisition piece, I think disposition is more important. I think being good at selling the properties and having relationships is actually more important than acquisitions. Acquisitions is really pretty easy. If you get good at marketing, you have a lot of leads come in and you can sort the leads quickly and make offers fast, you can get deals under contract. Now, the sharper your skills are at sales, make you better at acquisitions. But I think dispositions is more important. You finding the buyers, building relationship, being able to send a message, and selling a house is really, really important. One of the houses I sold today, or put under contract today that will close next week, I just sent to my dispo guy. I just rock bottom price. Here's what I need. I don't care how much you make from there. Go sell it. He got a $12,000 non-refundable earnest money check. And I have no worries. Like it's going to close. Like, I don't know who this buyer is. I didn't even recognize the name, and I've done thousands of deals in the Quad Cities. A new buyer. Great. Awesome. And then the other one was in an area I knew another guy, because I've been in the business a long time, done thousands of deals in the Quad Cities. I literally sent one text message to a guy I knew by, and I don't like to do dispo, but sometimes I just do it for fun to see if I can still sell houses really fast. I sent him one text message and it was sold. Super simple. So otherwise I would email the group. So cash buyers, building that list. When you get the list, what that means is you get a cash buyer, you get their email, and then ideally, really powerful is if you get their Facebook Messenger link. Okay. You can put a spreadsheet in there with their first name, last name, their email address. And if you're really good, you get their Facebook Messenger. I love the Facebook Messenger. It's powerful because everybody gets a lot of text messages now, and there's a lot of spam text messages out there. And I've sold more houses with Facebook Messenger over the years than I have texting people. People, they don't get spam messages in Facebook or in their messenger. So a lot of times you can communicate with them, and it's totally normal now. I have some of my closest friends. I've talked to them for a year. I got their number in my phone, but when I contact them, a lot of times I go on Messenger and now Instagram too. So, and then lastly, you get your realtor's buyer, your realtor list built. Your realtor list built. Find the top realtors in your area. Find the top realtors that move all the deals and build a relationship with them. Give them a call. Don't waste any of their time. They're busy. They're working. They're making money. Don't waste any of their time. But let them know who you are and what you're good at. And you're good at finding off-market deals. And you'd love to be able to send them a deal that they can sell to their any of their clients. And again, you can sit around and negotiate around for, hey, what am I going to pay commission? Like, I'll give you $500 or $1,000 or something. Don't mess around with that. Just say, listen, Mr. Realtor, Mrs. Realtor, I don't care how much money you make on commission. If I send you a deal for this price, that's all I want. If you have a buyer that can make 10, that you could do 10,000 more on this house, then make it. And they love that. Those realtors will actually pay attention to you if you stop talking percentage commission and start talking flat fee, or hey, go make as much as you want. Then they love that. Most realtors are used to saying, most realtors are constantly, their battle every day when they get up in the morning is their sellers try to talk their commissions down. Hey man, I know you want 7, but would you do it for 6? Like, they're constantly getting beat up on their commission all day. What if they meet you and you say, listen, I don't care how much commission you make. I want to make this. If you've got a buyer that will pay you $10,000, great. If you got a buyer that pay you $20,000, great. Let's put the price. You tell me. All I care about is I want to make this amount. So realtors have a captive audience. They've built relationships. They own those buyers. That's a good way to build a buyer's list, and fast. Keep in mind, you can talk to one realtor and they might have 50 buyers in their one pocket. So you build a relationship one to many. I love one to many. Okay. You build a relationship with one person, you have many buyers. Let them do the selling. Again, I'm all about quality of life and not working a million hours. I want to send one message to one person and hey, it's sold, done. That's what I like. Okay. And then the last thing I want to talk about is this is where Dispo is so important, is you got to learn how to sell. You got to learn how to create scarcity, and you've got to learn how to run this, what I like to call the squeeze play. So listen, if you want to sell, first of all, I've said this before, but the best book you can read on sales is a book that's like 100 years old. I've read it probably 10 times. It's How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success in Selling by Frank Bettger. How I Raised Myself from Failure to Success in Selling. You can read it in 3 hours. Super simple read, maybe less than that, but it tells you all the sales skills you need. But you need to have, you need to use enthusiasm I don't care if you're sending a text message or having a phone call with somebody. Use enthusiasm, be excited about the deal. When somebody sees you excited, they'll be excited. And then use scarcity. Hey, I like to say this, guys. I like to say, hey, I'll give you a 24-hour or a 48-hour head start. I'm only sending it to you. I'm going to give you 24 hours, but after 24 hours, if it's not something that you want, I'm going to push it out to the rest of my list, and I have thousands of buyers. Be honest a bit too, and don't send it to other people if you say you're only going to send it to them. But then, so I like to use that for a scarcity tactic. And secondly, I like to run a squeeze. Once you start getting activity and people are reaching out to you, you need to squeeze those buyers against each other. I say squeeze play because in baseball, if you got a runner on first and that runner takes off after somebody hits the ball and goes to second, but that second baseman hasn't left the base. Now you've got to the second baseman's trying to figure out how to get to third without getting the guy on first out and all this stuff. They're squeezed and all, and the first baseman, second baseman, third baseman are throwing the ball back and forth trying to get these guys out. They're squeezing them. Same thing with this. The squeeze play is you need to, when people start responding, you got to start squeezing people. Listen, hey, I'm glad you're interested. Hey, I've gotten a ton of responses. Listen, no BS. If this is something you want, you need to make a decision fairly quickly. I know an offer is going to be coming in any time. So if something you want, I need a decision made ASAP. And you use that squeeze to get your PA and be honest about it. Have a big enough buyers list where you really do have a lot of people asking you about the deal, and that builds confidence, and that confidence will transfer through the phone. I don't care if it's through a phone call, voice call, or a text message. It will transfer, and people will pick up on it, and you'll be a lot more likely to sell it really fast. So that's the main. I know we're running close on time here, but that's the main stuff I wanted to talk about with acquisitions and dispositions. But I wanted to leave enough time to ask questions. Does anybody have any questions for me on anything that we just discussed? If you do, just hit your unmute button and feel free to ask.
Matt, one of the things is when you're wholesaling, when you're actually lead generating, how do you determine which properties you actually wholesale and the ones that you keep for rehab?
That's 100% up to what you want to do. You get to decide that. Now, typically, if you've got, so the way it usually works is if you wholesale a deal, it really depends on your cash position. It depends on how many projects you have going on, all this stuff. But a lot of times what I do is I like wholesaling. Let me back up. You can never go wrong wholesaling. Okay. You're locking in your profits today. You have almost no risk to the deal and you're getting paid. Okay. You can't go wrong wholesaling. However, if you're going to make a wholesale fee of $3,000 and you're like, man, I got a buyer over here that will give me $3,000. It's not super exciting, but if I fix this thing up, I could resell it and make 25. That might be a good decision for you. If you have the cash and you want to do it, then do it. But everybody needs to kind of come up with their own decision. I have friends that don't keep a single property. One of my buddies, I literally was just on a conversation. I was on a call with him probably 3 hours ago, and he's doing 10 to 15 deals a month wholesale, and he doesn't keep anything. He just wants cash. So yeah, it just really depends, but good question. Anybody else have any questions? Robbie, you good?
It was regarding acquisitions. Can we outsource acquisitions as well for a VA or something?
Automate with like a VA to take all the phone calls.
Acquisitions, yeah, follow up when you know
So you want a VA to do sales, right? So
yeah.
So I haven't ever really done that before. But we're looking at testing that to see. My only thought is going through my mind is VAs like Philip. I like the VAs from Philippines. They speak good English. If you interview the right ones, they're very disciplined. They're great. But the problem is they don't use discretion. They're given a process. They follow the process to the T, and they don't step outside of the lines. So with that same personality type, it's tough to find somebody that will, with sales, you kind of gotta have to, there's no set, hey, you're always going to be asked this, and this is what you do in that scenario. They can be given sales training, but I just don't know if it would work or not. I don't really know anybody that's done it, but I'm going to give it a test. But think about where you spend your time. Acquisitions and dispositions is the best place to spend your time because you make the most money with that. So that's kind of my answer. I'm really not sure. I haven't done it myself yet, but we're looking at hiring somebody to do that and see. But if not a VA, you can hire an acquisitions person to do that side and just pay them commission only. and let them, go in and make their own money. And then it's not really a VA, but it's not you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Got it.
I know with you, Robbie, you're doing all the virtual wholesaling and stuff, and you're busy with all your other stuff you got going on. So finding an acquisitions VA or somebody like that would be ideal. I think really your next evolution is just to get somebody local, and that's good at sales that can close and go that route.
Yeah.
So we'll work on that. Any other questions on from anybody? Everybody else, you guys get a lot out of this one?
Yep.
No other questions, huh? I must have covered everything.
You covered a lot. I just have a lot to think about.
Yeah, I know. It's a little overwhelming sometimes. Hopefully you took a lot of notes.
So with regards to the ones that you do hold, because I do a lot of rehab flips, and so the approach on the disposition side, with regards to, do you ever like stage with disposing of a rehab that's one that you took down in rehab? What are some of the techniques that you use? Do you like ever stage the properties? Or?
Yeah, you can. I've done all that. And I know in the higher priced luxury, more of a luxury properties, staging is really, really, really important. It really works. My problem is you have to find in my opinion, the staging thing is a hassle. I don't like running furniture from one house to the next. You end up, it's a pain. But there are companies that will do it for you, and if you find a good company that does the staging, and for a really good price, you could just offload it and let them do it. A staged house looks better than a vacant house for sure. So it just depends on the price it costs. So if you find somebody that will do a staging for you, and they charge you $1,500 for the house to bring in the furniture, place the furniture, make it look amazing, and you can get $1,500 more from out of the house by staging it, or $1,500 or higher, then it's worth it.
Yeah, because I have a broker that actually does the staging, but what they would do is kind of mark it up after they stage it by $5,000 to $10,000 more dollars. To kind of they kind of cushion it with their fee, and it's helped out. And
so they don't really charge you anything extra. They're getting a higher sales price, so for them it makes it worth it because they're getting more commission.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I would do that all day. I would do that all day long. Yeah, because then that's easy. You're just out of your hands. They're handling it, and you don't have to pay anything extra, and they just get to raise the price. Heck yeah, I'd do that all day. That's a great idea.
Okay. All right.
Well, cool. Anybody else have any other questions? We all good? You guys gonna go out and crush acquisitions and dispositions now?
Yep.
All right. Well, hey, I'm gonna jump off here. I saw Mark jump on. Hopefully, Mark, you got a lot of it, and Jack jumped on there a little bit too. So, hope you guys are doing well, and we will talk to you guys soon.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Have a great one. Bye.
Bye.